Good evening, everyone. We're going to get started. I know you guys have more fun things to do than hang out here. So let's get rolling. Notice is hereby given of the regular meeting of the Board of Education of the Town of Westfield in the County of Union, New Jersey at 6:30 p.m. on the evening of Tuesday, June 16th, 2026 in Cafeteria B of Westfield High School, 550 Dorian Road, Westfield, New Jersey. The purpose of the meeting is to transact the regular business of the board and to transact any other business to come properly before the board. This is to advise the general public and to instruct that it be recorded in the minutes that in compliance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975, entitled the Open Public Meetings Act, the Westfield School Board on Thursday, June 11th, 2026, caused to be posted at the office of the Board of Education, located at 302 Elm Street, Westfield, New Jersey, and delivered to the Westfield Leader, NJ.com, the Westfield Library, Town Clerk of Westfield, Tap Into Westfield, the district website, and Patch.com, a meeting notice setting forth the time, date, and location of this meeting. Patty, may I have a roll call, please?
Rob Bonaccio.
Here.
Kent Diamond.
Here.
Patrick Duffy.
Here.
Layla Morelli.
Here.
Sonal Patel. Kristen Sonic Schmeltz.
Here.
Julie Steinberg. Anthony Tessitore.
Here.
Mary Wickens.
Here.
We'll start with a flag salute. Patrick, would you mind leading? All right, we will move, because I'm sure everybody would love to stay for the full duration of this meeting. We'll start with the recognitions first, if that's okay with all you guys. So we are going to start with the Westfield High School boys golf team. Tonight, we are proud to recognize the Westfield High School boys golf team for their outstanding season. These student athletes showed great commitment, resilience, and teamwork all season long. Their hard work and unity are clearly reflected in their success. We also extend our sincere appreciation to the coaches and families whose guidance and encouragement continue to play an essential role in these students' athletic journeys. The Westfield High School boys golf team captured the NJSIAA North Jersey Section 2 Group 4 Sectional Championship. We're in. I'm good for applause breaks. That works. Before I ask Coach Ryan Daly up to say a few words, let me first call each member of the team up to receive a certificate of recognition from our superintendent. After you accept the certificate, please proceed to the stage and await a photograph. Your families will be invited to take pictures as well. Make sure you hold the certificate the right side up, not upside down. We'll start off with Chase Sims. Jack Brouillard. Eli Diamant. Dingwen Yang. Chris Smock. Aiden Donnelly. Thomas O'Brien. Nicholas Benson. Matthew McKenna. Benjamin Barstack. Alex Singer. Colin McGeehan. Bo Broad. Matthew Grillin. Ryan Jaskowski. And Ryan Block. Coach Daly, if you come to the podium and say a few words.
Good evening, everyone. First, thank you, President Bonaccio and the members of the board, and thank you, Dr. Gonzalez, for this very nice recognition. We'd also like to thank Principal Esfendis, Athletic Director Jim DeSarno, Athletic Secretary Ms. Karen Gallen, and our Assistant Chris Yoon. We had a great season. We finished runner-up at the Wall Invitational and the UCC Conference Tournament, and we finished first place at the UCIAC and the sectional with a record low in our school's history for the sectional tournament, 286. This is our sixth sectional championship since 2019. And we ended up with our last state ranking was 10th in the state in NJ.com. And individually, sophomore Chase Sims is ranked 14th in the state, and he was voted first team Group 4 and second team All-State. So I think that's... Now, the work of this season started well before, with many of our players working through a tough winter, but still finding time to practice in simulators and indoor facilities. We also spent time in our WHS Fitness Center to improve our strength and stamina. Now, many of our players are competing as individuals over the summer. However, we know it is extremely special to play golf as a team. And to represent Westfield High School is a tremendous honor. We thank the parents and the community who make these wonderful opportunities possible for us. And lastly, we just want to thank our captain this year, Ben Barshtak. Although he faced a lot of adversity, he was not able to participate in any matches or tournaments this year, yet he continued to show up in tryouts, in practices, playoffs, matches, practice rounds, tournaments, and giving us encouraging words on the GroupMe chat, which I actually read to them before they went out on the TOC, before they teed it up. The last words I shared with them was a message from Barsh, and we said, guys, this is what it's all about. So we are tremendously grateful for his leadership this year, and we're grateful to the community for this recognition. Thank you very much.
On the bright side, I got the blue jacket memo today. Next, we're going to move on to our music student recognition. We have a lot of students to recognize here today for absolutely wonderful reasons. We're starting with the intermediate schools, and we're going to move on to the high schools. I hope the folks from the intermediate schools and the elementary schools in particular will stay here and just kind of see, when we invite our high school students up, exactly what great stuff lies ahead of you, right? This is all these folks that we're going to honor at the high school all came up in these programs, starting in elementary and at our intermediate schools. And when you see all the things that they've achieved, you'll see the bright future you have ahead, in addition to the achievements you're already making for yourselves. So at the end of the school year, we always take the opportunity to recognize the importance of music education in our schools. Each year, we welcome our student musicians and vocalists who have performed in regional and state ensembles, and in some cases at the national level. The number of hours and weeks of dedicated practice necessary to prepare for rigorous auditions and performances is awe-inspiring. On behalf of the entire board, I want to welcome you, your music instructors, and your families to tonight's board meeting. Given the number of students selected for these prestigious performances, it is no surprise that the Westfield Public School District has been named one of the best communities for music education in the nation for a 9th consecutive year. We will begin with our student musicians from Edison and Roosevelt Intermediate Schools, who perform with the Central Jersey Music Educators Association Region Intermediate Band. When I call your name, please come up to accept a certificate of recognition from Superintendent Dr. Raymond Gonzalez before proceeding onto the stage to await a photograph. Your band directors will be invited to the podium to say a few words before joining you for the photo. We're going to start with Daphne Canaran, flute. Lydia Hollander, trumpet. Marcus Coe, clarinet. Oliver Cohen, French horn. Philippos Kamvakis, trumpet. And Peyton Letty, French horn. I now invite Edison Band Director John Scazzaro and Roosevelt Band Director Chelsea McFarland up to the podium for some remarks.
So we just want to say thank you on behalf of the Board of Education. This is a very high honor for these students. They work incredibly hard. I wish, Ms. Furlan and I both wish that we could take all the credit for it, but it really comes down to the students. They do all the preparation. They're the ones practicing at home, doing all the hard work. We're just there to kind of guide them, but again, everything that they have done, they've kind of done through all of their dedication, hard work, practicing, and to the parents for driving them to and from auditions to private lessons. It is something that really does take a lot of effort from the family. So we wanted to say thank you guys. We are incredibly proud of you. This is a super high honor, and you guys, again, super proud of you. Thanks so much.
Next up is the Edison Intermediate School musicians selected to perform with the All-State and Region Intermediate Orchestra. We're going to start with Emma Wong, violin. Emma performed with the Chamber Orchestra and the All-State Orchestra. Emmeline Yang, violin, also with the String Orchestra and the All-State Orchestra. Nolan Wong, violin, String Orchestra, and All-State Orchestra. Chelsea Lee, violin, String Orchestra. And Emma Fawn, violin, also String Orchestra. And we now invite Edison Orchestra Director Amanda Gant up to come and say a few words about your students.
Hello, everybody. Congratulations, you guys. This is always a really fun night for us, and as Mr. Scazzero said before, it really does take all of your dedication to get to this point. The music for these auditions comes out over the summer, so the preparation for this event, and in the case of Allstate, it continues for orchestra. It's not an easy task, so I'm super proud of all 5 of you. I just need to point out, and I know she's going to be mad at me for this, but after Emma's concert, and Emma has been in Region and Allstate all 3 years of her middle school career, but after her concert, all of her friends wanted her to go out for ice cream. She was like, but I have to get home and practice violin. And while I really did, I was like, listen, you can take 30 minutes, go get some ice cream, then you can practice. So I just think that really speaks to the testament that they are creating for their own lives, your own trajectory. It's really amazing to watch. And as Mr. Scazzero said, parents, this would not be possible without your constant support, and we truly do appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Okay, next we're moving to the Westfield High School musicians, beginning with the 7 students who performed with Allstate and regional bands. They are Christian Bonapane, Region Band and Allstate Band. Same thing, come on up. Liliana Lincoln, Region Band and Allstate Band. Anya Osiello, Region Band. Gabriel Garfield, Region Band. William Flannery, Region Band. Alex Dannenhauer, Region Band. And Jacqueline Mohan, Region Band. Oh, look at you. All right. Our band directors are Christopher Vitale and Gabriel Batiz. I'd like to invite you both up to the podium.
Is this song? I'm going to talk about Liliana because she's here, and I won't rehash everything that was said before. I think it should be noted that the preparation for this does take several months, but the preparation really starts in 4th grade when they start their instruments, carry on to middle school and to high school. And I think this is just a perfect example of what we don't see a lot of these days, which is delayed gratification, and the fact that they're playing their instruments at a level that, you know, they're playing solos at the high school level that you would need to play to get accepted into a music school at the collegiate level is pretty impressive. So congratulations, thank you for recognizing them, and congratulations, Liliana.
next up are Westfield High School musicians selected to perform with the Central Jersey Music Educators Association Region Orchestra. Please come up to accept a certificate and move on to the stage for a photograph. Ria Sitwalliker. Lilia Duval. Justin O. And Ethan Coe. Orchestra Director Craig Stanton was not able to attend tonight, but he asked that I share his congratulatory statement. I would like to thank the Board of Education for honoring all our district's accomplished musicians tonight. Our district has a proud tradition of supporting the arts, and these students, Ria, Lilia, Ethan, and Justin, are shining examples of what happens when talent meets hard work and dedicated instruction. They have not only elevated their own craft, but have also brought immense pride to the Westfield High School Orchestra program. Congratulations to all the honorees and their families on this well-deserved recognition. Thank you all for being such an important part of what makes the WHS Music Department so special. Congratulations. We now welcome our student vocalists who performed with the Region and All-State Chorus. Again, I will call each of you up to receive a certificate and ask that you proceed onto the stage to await a group photograph. First is Emily Bailey, Region Chorus. Dorian Ritter, Region Chorus. Ava Patel, Region Chorus. Fiona Brown, All-State Chorus. Madeline Smith, All-State Chorus. Emily Tessitore, All-State Chorus. Valentina Chucci, All-State Chorus. You know that kid, right? Nikita Bott, Region Chorus and All-State Chorus. Mark D'Angelo, Region Chorus and All-State Chorus. Kelsey Dix, Region Chorus and All-State Chorus. Hannah Forbes, Region Chorus, All-State Chorus, and a 4-year pin for Region Chorus. Ella Hartz, Region Chorus and All-State Chorus. Luella Mockbee, Region Chorus and All-State Chorus. Mia Nuzzo, Region Chorus and All-State Chorus. Kieran Patel, Region Chorus, All-State Chorus, 4-year pin for Region Chorus. And Mia Sacco, Region Chorus, All-State Chorus, 4-year pin for Region Chorus. Let me now invite Choral Director John Brzezowski up to the podium to say a few words about these amazing students.
Good evening, and thank you so much for recognizing these students tonight, and all of the students. Congratulations to all of the students who were recognized tonight. And as I look at these amazing human beings in front of me, my choir students that have been involved in these region and all-state opportunities, I think about how these opportunities really help the students, and I've seen how Region and All-State has provided profound growing experiences for students. What we see tonight is a celebration reflective of their immense hard work, their commitment, their artistry, and their talent. But it also represents their courage, putting yourself out there in a vulnerable position, willing to give it your absolute best shot. All of that takes incredible bravery, and we know that not every student who steps into that room or submits a recording gets accepted into these groups, which makes the willingness to try all the more admirable. Tonight, we celebrate these students not only for their talent, but for their work ethic, their dedication to their craft, and for beautifully representing Westfield High School choir on both the state and regional levels. Congratulations, guys. I couldn't be prouder to be your director.
Okay. Last but certainly not least, we have the winners of awards for the Westfield High School Theater Department at the Montclair State University Foxy Awards. They are as follows. Avery McMeekin, come on up. For outstanding performance by a supporting actress in a play, that's in Blue Stockings, fall of 2025. You have Kelsey Dix. That's for outstanding performance by a supporting actress in a musical for Smile Spring 2025. Meher Agarwal. Come on up. Outstanding achievement by a student makeup designer for a musical, Smile Spring 2025. And there are some seniors here tonight to accept on behalf of the entire cast. The cast of Smile with a Foxy for Outstanding Achievement by an Acting Ensemble, Spring 2025. So if you're in the cast, come on up. And finally, for Mr. Devlin, the Risk Taking in Direction of a Musical Award, Smile Spring 2025. Please say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you to the board and to Dr. Gonzalez and our supervisor, Shauna Long, for recognizing the importance of theater in our schools, music in our schools, the performing arts in our schools. These students up here are remarkable. I should note that we received 21 nominations for the fall play and the spring musical, and several of the people sitting out here were also nominated but did not necessarily win that award. It is because of them and because of our great musical director, Mr. Brzezowski, who was up here earlier, and the other adults who dedicate so much of their time to make this happen, that we have such a strong performing arts department, and I appreciate the support from you and from all of the parents, and I love working with these students more than I should. You guys are great. Thank you.
Okay, with the awards portion of the evening done, we do have some announcements. I'm not sure who has them. I'll start. Patrick, do you have an announcement?
This month, Westfield Public Schools proudly hosted its annual District Art Show, celebrating the creativity, talent, and artistic achievements of students across the district. The exhibition featured more than 2,200 pieces of artwork created by students from the elementary, intermediate, and high school levels, showcasing a wide range of artistic styles, techniques, and mediums.
Mary?
Yep. Westfield High School commencement will take place on Thursday, June 25th at Gary Kaler Stadium at 9:30 a.m. Congratulations to the class of 2026.
Kent?
Edison and Roosevelt Intermediate Schools 8th grade promotion ceremonies will take place on Wednesday, June 24th. Congratulations to our 8th grade students on this important milestone. We wish you continued success as you begin your next chapter at high school. I'll be there.
Layla, do you have an announcement?
Congratulations to our 5th grade students. 5th grade moving up ceremonies will take place this week and next week. We are so proud of all you have accomplished and can't wait to see all of the great things you'll do as you begin your next chapter in middle school.
Julie?
Westfield Public Schools will have early dismissal on Wednesday, June 24th and Thursday, June 25th. The last day of school for students is June 25th, and the last day for staff is June 26th. The district summer hours will begin on Monday, June 29th from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Anthony? No, nothing. Okay. Kristen, think you have one?
I do. The next regular public board meeting will be on August 25th in Cafeteria B at Westfield High School beginning at 7 p.m. The meeting will be live streamed via the district YouTube channel, which viewers can access on the board tab of the district website. Thank you.
We'll move now to a report by district administration. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, this evening I just have a few comments just to capitalize on the final days of the 2025-26 school year. celebrating the amazing achievement of our students, dedicated staff, and supportive community over the last several weeks reminds us of the amazing traditions of excellence that continue to find their ways through our schools and our hallways and our classrooms each and every day. To our students transitioning at the elementary, intermediate, and high school level, I want to congratulate them on taking the next big step on their educational journey. And of course, to the graduating classes 2026, your hard work, resilience, and dedication has truly set them apart. Their time at Westfield Public Schools has built a foundation for whatever lies ahead, and we cannot wait to see what they achieve next. We celebrate all of our students and wish all of them the best and hope for a wonderful, safe, and enjoyable summer.
Thank you. Next, report from our high school student representative, Ben.
Saturday, May 16th was Arts on the Line, where the choir and band departments collaborated to put together a fun day with live music from student musicians while students gathered, participating in games, eating food, and socializing. On May 19th, the Red Cross Club held a very successful blood drive in partnership with the Red Cross and CAF-B. In all, there were 24 donors who were able to successfully donate. It was the first year running a blood drive with the Red Cross in a long time, and a first for the newly established club. Every donation has the potential to save up to 3 lives, and WHS is proud to be part of this effort. The class of 2026 enjoyed a jam-packed week 2 weeks ago. On Wednesday, they ended the senior sunrise sunset tradition watching the sunset at Keller. On Thursday, they mingled, played games, and enjoyed free ice cream at the senior picnic during the last block of the school day. And on Saturday, they attended prom at Pines Manor in Edison. And just to add to some of the things we've heard earlier this evening, congratulations to the class of 2026, of course. There's a reason why so many alumni email teachers expressing how thankful they are for their education at WHS. High school works very well to prepare its students, and we're confident that they will succeed in whatever endeavors they choose. Next up, graduation. Also 2 weeks ago was the Student Assistant Counselors SACS World Cafe event. Facilitated with the help of peer moderators, a group of students meant to represent all different kinds of voices around the school gathered during lunch to have roundtable discussions on various aspects of life at WHS. Key topics of discussion included communication between administration and students and teacher-student relationships. The SACS will be doing work in the next few weeks to synthesize major takeaways, bringing them as well as potential recommendations to administration. The results of the SGA elections this year are in, and next year's board is decided. Your new president will be Caroline Logie. Juliet Lerner is your vice president of events. Austin Lin will be your treasurer. Caroline Som is your recording secretary. Mia O'Reilly is your corresponding secretary. And the vice president of communications, the student who will be sitting here next year, is, once again, me. Speaking on behalf of the SGA, we're proud of all our candidates and representatives, current and future. Finally, I'd like to do a little year-end recap to honor our last meeting of this school year. I think first and most notably, we've made it through block scheduling. There were also some big shifts this school year, including new flex periods, a stricter ID policy, and the beta testing of a new smart pass hall pass system. While these changes have called for big adaptations, students and staff are rising to the challenge, demonstrating our resilience as one WHS community. Speaking for myself, one big thing that I'm seeing that I think has helped a lot is the effort to include student and staff voices. Mrs. Isfendis has committees composed of students and staff that she met with, where she was extremely receptive to ideas and feedback. The students' assistant counselors with their World Cafes, done with both staff and students, also recognized and attempted to address key concerns. Communication seems to be very important to my peers, and I personally hope to see what's been going on this year continue next year, and perhaps even take even further flight. Among running school spirit days, organizing senior sunset and sunrise, and helping coordinate fundraisers, SGA's major undertakings this year included freshman orientation, the student staff volleyball game, and donations to the Wounded Warriors Foundation, and the student staff basketball game / community service week, which resulted in many meaningful contributions to various organizations in Westfield and its environs. And, as usual, WHS's various extracurricular and co-curricular activities, ranging from sports to music to journalism, also shined this year, garnering awards on the local, state, and national stages alike. If I listed them, we would really be here all night. Lastly, I want to express my personal appreciation for this role and the things I learned with it. Serving as WHS's student liaison this year has exposed me to the inner workings of the school district and even opened my eyes to what's going on in my own school in a way that no other student can really get. Special thanks to Mary Wickens, who sat next to me this year and served as my personal guide for all things board related, helping me understand what the heck was going on with the board, with the budget stuff was truly a big help. And in general, to the whole board, your hospitality has made me feel welcome and excited to be here. Thank you all again for an amazing experience as your student representative. I'm looking forward to another meaningful year next year.
I think you just offered to help Patrick with the budget stuff this time around. That's good. Perfect. That works. Excellent. Outstanding. I'm sure Pat wasn't expecting that when he ran, so that's perfect. Excellent. Well, congratulations. Great to have you back, Ben. Thank you for the reports. And I'm looking forward. I think, if Kent ever can't give a finance report, now that we know that Mary has this great budget background, you're going to be in. What do you think? You know, perfect. I will take it. Perfect. So speaking of committee reports, let's start with a report by the Curriculum Instruction and Programs Committee Chair. That's Kristen.
Okay, bear with me because we did a lot of exciting stuff, so it's kind of a long report. Here we go. The committee met on the morning of June 8th. During this meeting, SIP reviewed several regulations and proposed updates designed to ensure district practices remained aligned with current educational research, student needs, and evolving program expectations. The committee reviewed revisions from Regulation 5440, Honoring Student Achievement, which updates the expectations, eligibility criteria, and application process associated with the National Honor Society membership at Westfield High School. The committee also received an update on the ongoing review of Regulation 2330, Homework, and Regulation 2624, Grading System. Over the course of several months, a representative committee of teachers and administrators collaborated to examine district practices, educational research, and stakeholder feedback in order to develop proposed revisions. The updated regulations are intended to reflect current best practices in teaching, learning, and assessment, while supporting greater consistency across the schools and the grade levels. To ensure a thoughtful implementation process, the district will continue to operate under the current regulations during the 26-27 school year, while piloting elements of the proposed revisions. Throughout the pilot year, teachers and administrators will collect implementation data, evaluate the impact of the changes on the student learning, and build capacity around the revised expectations. As a result, these regulations are not expected to be presented to the Board of Education for adoption until the spring of 2027, which means we will not be voting on them until then. The committee also reviewed revisions to Regulation 2464, Gifted and Talented Students, which were updated to reflect the district's redesigned gifted education program and revised screening and identification processes developed through this year's comprehensive program review. District supervisors presented several curriculum updates and new course proposals during the meeting as well. Dr. Tiffany Jacobson provided an overview of the work completed by the full-day kindergarten steering committee during the 25-26 school year. Committee members engaged in extensive research, visiting neighboring school districts, participating in professional learning opportunities through Harvard University, and developed a set of guiding principles to support the district's transition to full-day kindergarten. During the coming year, the committee will focus on curriculum development, instructional programming, and resource planning to support implementation. Supervisor Andrea Brennan presented the proposed AP Macroeconomics course and reviewed revisions to the district's entrepreneurship curriculum. The entrepreneurship course will continue to provide students with dual enrollment opportunity through Syracuse University while incorporating updates to better align with current business and economic practices. Supervisor Liz D'Alessandro shared updates to the AP Statistics curriculum that were necessary to align the course with recent changes made by the College Board. Supervisor Shauna Longo presented the curriculum for Modern Music 8, a new elective course designed to expand music learning opportunities to intermediate school students and provide additional pathways for creative expression and music exploration. And that course is on tonight's agenda. The committee also received a brief update regarding the continued exploration of American Sign Language as an offering at the high school. Due to limited availability of certified ASL instructors, the district will not be able to offer the course during the 26-27 school year. Students who selected ASL during the course registration will be scheduled into their alternate world language choice. Lastly, the committee discussed several programmatic and assessment-related topics impacting the 26-27 school year. A significant portion of the discussion focused on the district's redesigned gifted education program and updated screening process. Administration reviewed the rationale behind the revised identification model and discussed the implementation of new Grade 3 pilot program that will return gifted services to each elementary school. The committee also reviewed plans to relocate Grade 4 and Grade 5 gifted program from Edison to Franklin, beginning in the 26-27 school year. The committee reviewed the proposed 26-27 academic calendar, including marking period dates, report card distribution timelines, and examination schedules for the upcoming school year. Finally, the committee continued to review the projected elementary school section configurations for the 26-27 school year. The administration shared enrollment projections, classroom utilization data, and information regarding instructional spaces, including gymnasium and art rooms. The discussion included the impact of relocating current gifted and special education programs to available instructional spaces at Washington and Franklin schools. In reviewing potential section consolidations, the administration considers district-wide enrollment trends, relative class sizes across schools and grade levels, compliance with board policy regarding maximum class size, and the efficient allocation of staffing resources while maintaining reasonable parity among classrooms throughout the district. Budget implications are also a factor in the decision-making process. The district budgeted for one additional elementary school teacher for the 26-27 school year. Current enrollment projections will require the district to add 2 additional elementary sections at Franklin and Wilson schools. That concludes our report. That was a lot. I apologize.
Yes, it was. Okay. Next report by Finance and Facilities. Ken?
Thank you. Like curriculum, we had a robust agenda, so I'll keep my comments to a brief 25 minutes. The Finance and Facilities Committee met on June 12th, 2026 to review budgets, facilities, referendum, and operational matters. The committee reviewed the current status of the 2025 and 26 budget. Revenues continue to outperform projections, yay, and the district remains on track to close the year within budget while maintaining appropriate reserve balances. Resolutions before the board tonight will allow any excess fund balances identified during the audit process to be transferred to capital and to maintenance reserve accounts. The committee also received an update on referendum projects and financing. The board will vote tonight on the authorization for the issue of $125.8 million of the voter-approved referendum. By issuing only the funds needed for the next phase of construction rather than the full authorized amount of $225 million, the district is demonstrating fiscal responsibility and minimizing unnecessary interest costs for taxpayers. The $125.8 million will get the district through the next year of construction, at which point they will have more finalized budget numbers since all the projects will be in process and will be able to issue exactly what is needed to complete the project. The committee also reviewed summer project schedules for this coming summer, about 40 projects across 10 schools roughly, for both referendum and capital reserve work. Members recommended documenting projects with extensive before and after photographs to help communicate progress and facility improvements for the communities. Hopefully this summer the Roosevelt facade will be done and much rejoicing will entail. An update was provided regarding the appointment of N27 Consulting for energy incentive and rebate consulting services. It was noted that the pricing for these services were negotiated down from what other districts have recently been paid. Congratulations, Patty. N27 will be applying for all of the rebates, incentives, and grants associated with referendum projects. The board will also be approving an RFP for commissioning services, which will verify that the new HVAC systems that we will install perform according to design specifications before final project acceptance. The committee also reviewed proposals for external audit services and is recommending the reappointment of PKE O'Connor based on both cost and prior performance with us. That is on tonight's agenda. Members discussed the district's rotation schedule for professional services RFPs. For the coming school year, the district will conduct RFP processes for the health insurance broker, the general insurance broker, and the board attorney services. The committee also reviewed health and insurance renewals and reviewed the resolution on tonight's agenda asking our legislators to assist school districts with the rising health care costs. As a school district, the state mandates the plans that we must offer to new staff members, which further limits the district's ability to control the ever-rising health insurance cost. We reviewed several mandatory policy revisions that are on the agenda for tonight for first reading that relate to federal grant compliance. The committee noted that the district is already compliant with the policy changes. Finally, the committee members discussed the board secretary reports and noted that an explanatory guide has been included in this week's board check-in materials to assist board members in understanding the monthly financial reports. The committee will continue to monitor budget performance, referendum implementation, legislative developments, and summer construction progress throughout the coming months. Thank you.
Thank you, Kent. Policies, personnel, and governance, that's Mary.
Thank you. The Policy, Personnel, and Governance Committee met on June 3rd, 2026. The committee began with a year-to-date review of personnel work and the status of items under the committee's purview. The administration shared that as part of the committee's ongoing focus this year, 104 job descriptions have been approved by the board during the 25-26 school year. Thank you, Dr. Greer. And the committee discussed that the review of observation and evaluation rubrics will shift to the 26-27 school year. The committee then reviewed policy work completed this year and the status of several ongoing efforts. The committee noted that 23 policies and 7 regulations have been reviewed and approved by the board during the 25-26 school year. The committee also reviewed progress related to the Code of Conduct work, noting that the new regulation was presented and reviewed by the committee and moved forward for first reading on May 12th. The committee further discussed the completion of standard operating procedures connected to professional services review in coordination with the Finance and Facilities Committee, including the completion of the auditor RFP, with additional RFP work planned for the summer and into the 26-27 school year. In addition, the committee reviewed policies from Strauss-Esme Policy Alert 237, recommended by the administration for first reading at tonight's board meeting, including revisions to Policy 0162, Notice of Board Meetings, the addition of Policy 0162.01, Legal Notices, and revisions to Policy 1230, Superintendent's Duties, and Policy 1643, Family Leave. The committee recommends placing these policies on tonight's agenda for first reading. The committee then turned to governance and revisited calendar planning for the 27-28 and 28-29 school years, with an ongoing focus on starting students the day after Labor Day and ending the school year as early as possible in June. The committee reviewed key calendar highlights and noted that the placement of certain observances and staff in-service days will continue to be considered as options are refined, including the potential use of unused inclement weather days to shorten the school year or extend the Memorial Day weekend when feasible. The committee recommends continued review by other committees for feedback before placing it on a board agenda for a vote in September. Finally, the committee reviewed a sample resolution drafted by the New Jersey School Boards Association urging immediate relief and long-term reforms related to rising public school employee health care costs. Following discussion, the committee recommends placing the resolution on tonight's board agenda after being reviewed by the Finance and Facilities Committee. The next PPG committee meeting is to be determined.
Thank you very much. Okay, now we're going to move to recognize the public on agenda action items only. These are the action items that are color-coded and numbered 9 to 13 on the board's agenda. If you're here to speak on something we're not voting on, there'll be an opportunity for public comment toward the end of the meeting. It shouldn't take too long, just after we vote. As a courtesy, please allow current students and staff of the Westfield Public Schools to speak first. The board requests that individuals sign in and state their name, municipality of residence, and group affiliation if applicable for the record, the specific action items they are commenting on, and ask that all remarks be directed to the board president or their designee and not to individual members or staff. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and mindful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Specifically, comments regarding personnel matters are discouraged and cannot be responded to by the board. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded by the laws of New Jersey. The board bears no responsibility, nor will it be liable for any comments made by members of the public. If a matter concerning a district staff member is of interest or concern to a resident, the matter should be referred to the responsible building principal, superintendent of schools, or the Board of Education, either by telephone, letter, or email. Although the board may not respond to items raised during the public forum, all public comments will be considered. Please note that if any member of the public becomes disruptive during the meeting, the board president may terminate the participant's statement. Continued disruptions may result in the removal from the meeting or adjournment of the meeting. Each speaker's statement will be limited to 3 minutes in duration. As for action items now.
Kyle George, Westfield, here to talk about the first reading of R2464, Gifted and Talented. I have both personal experience and a vested interest in the quality of the GNT program. My wife and I were both in GNT programs in different states as children, and our daughter is loving her time in Mrs. Van Riper's classroom one day each week. I support curriculum enrichment for all students and tiering offerings by ability. No student, including one who misses the GNT threshold by a single point, should be bored in class. But a viable program for exceptionally gifted children must remain intact or they will stagnate. I've tracked BOE policies for 6 years. Through my experience, I've likely read more regulations than most Westfield residents. This draft of R2464 is unequivocally the worst revision to an existing policy I've ever seen. It is objectively and subjectively bad, poorly written, ambiguous, yet authoritarian. It's also disingenuous. The existing R2464 is unambiguous and objective, defining specific entry thresholds based on the COGAT and WISC IQ tests. The new policy deletes all specific tests and standards. Instead, it details an unspecified committee, unspecified local norms, complaint filing, annual rescreening and reviews, probationary periods, and exiting or kicking kids out of the Gifted and Talented program. Call me old school, but giftedness is not something you fail out of. Furthermore, this regulation completely contradicts public and private messaging. It makes no mention of the Compass program highlighted in the district newsletter and flies in the face of private assurances from Mr. Pinkay that currently enrolled children won't be affected. Parents have been trying desperately to get definitive, clear, and unambiguous information. I've had multiple meetings with administrators. They'll cite local norms and best practices as justifications, yet they can't or won't articulate what those are. In fact, I was told in a recent meeting that I should research the best practices myself. The issues go deeper than the text. The district has been implementing these changes for over 6 months, well before bringing this policy revision for consideration. The administration was likely testing kids behind the scenes using new standards before this policy even crossed your desk. Members of the BOE, has the administration been able to articulate best practices to you? Do you know what the local norms are? Does this document clearly specify the GNT process? If not, then you must reject this revision until you get answers. Don't be fooled by talk of mandatory changes due to state law either. State law doesn't mandate ambiguity. That's a choice, and the existing policy already uses, in effect, the multiple measures the state law requires. This revision must be revoked and rewritten with full specification and transparency. Our current GNT students must be protected so they can continue to thrive, and future cohorts deserve a program built on clarity, not administrative ambiguity. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no other on agenda items, I'll close that portion of public comment and move to the board action items. I will start with the approval of the May 12th, 2026 regular board meeting minutes and the executive session minutes. Can I have a second, please? Kent? We can just do this by voice vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the minutes are approved. Next, Kristen, would you please move the governance items on the board agenda?
Yes. I'd like to move items A and B under governance. Can I get a second? Mary? And do you want any comments, questions?
Yeah, I just want to add one more comment on B, which is the resolution that was prepared by the SBA that we're adopting. There are a number of other school districts who are facing, some significant issues from a financial perspective regarding the increase in healthcare costs. We've been lucky. We've had to, but not unaffected. There are certainly some programs that we would have liked to have seen, some changes and developments like to have seen that had to get paused, because of the increase in costs that we were looking at. This board had a pretty long and robust discussion about that a few meetings ago. And I want to thank the board for moving quickly on this. One of the ways you can speak up is by showing some solidarity with our other districts. So I'm glad we're doing that. I want to thank Julie for bringing it to our attention. I want to thank our PPG committee for moving quickly to review and approve it. And it certainly is going to get my support. But I just wanted to comment on it and certainly speak in favor of it.
All right. Rob Badaccio.
Yes.
Kent Diamond.
Yes.
Patrick Duffy.
Yes.
Layla Morelli. Sonal Patel. Kristen Sonic-Schmeltz.
Yes.
Julie Steinberg.
No to A, yes to B.
Anthony Tessitore.
Yes.
Mary Wickens.
Yes.
All right, next, the personnel items for the agenda. I think that's Mary.
Okay. I'd like to move items A to RR under the personnel section of tonight's agenda. Can I get a second? Kent, I saw Kent first. Dr. Gonzalez, you?
Yes, this evening we do have one retirement on the agenda, and that's for Lisa Morazzo. Lisa Morazzo works in the transportation department at Elm Street. Lisa brought to Westfield a wealth of transportation experience from a long and successful career in pupil transportation. During her time with the district, she managed our transportation operations with professionalism, dedication, and a calm demeanor, even while overseeing the addition of 2 new buses and drivers and the many logistical challenges that come with a growing transportation program. Lisa's expertise, commitment to service, and ability to keep things running smoothly behind the scenes have made a meaningful impact on our students, families, and staff. On behalf of the Board of Education and the entire Westfield community, we thank her for her service and wish her all the best as she begins this exciting new chapter in the adventures that lie ahead.
I'd like to add a little bit because Lisa works for me, and just note that Ray and I are going to miss her a lot because she's cut down the number of emails that we get about transportation by like 95%. So we're definitely going to miss her.
Could I add on to that as well? So one of the things that I think is so important is, professionalism and courteousness. And anytime I've emailed Lisa as a parent with any questions, any concerns, she responds immediately. She is pleasant. She is a wealth of information. She will help however she can, and it just makes dealing with her and her office and just a pleasure. So she's a great one.
All right, even though I'd like to deny that one, I have to ask you to vote yes on it. Rob Bonaccio,
Yes.
Ken Diamond,
Yes.
Patrick Duffy,
Yes.
Layla Morelli, Sonal Patel, Kristen Sonic-Schmeltz,
Yes.
Julie Steinberg,
With great regret, yes.
Anthony Tessitore,
Yes.
Mary Wickens.
Yes.
Excellent. Now move to the finance and facilities items and our often imitated, never equaled diamond donation report.
Thank you, Rob. I'd like to move items A through II on tonight's agenda, but before I ask for a second, I want to highlight some wonderful donations. We have 8 donations tonight totaling $56,000 in change. The first, a special thanks to Lori Woog for donating, bear with me here, a 4x4 Franz Hoffman Amadeus model violin, estimated value $289, a 16-inch viola, estimated value $100, 16-inch E.R. Fissner copy of Stradivarius 1966 intermediate viola, estimated value $400, a Signet Special Seaman clarinet, estimated value $250, and a Barrington by L.A. Sax clarinet, estimated value $400, to support the district's music department. Next, we'd like to thank the McKinley Girl Scout Troop 40421 for a bike rack, estimated value $588.11 for the students' use at McKinley. Third, we have an anonymous donation of $1,500 for the music department of Franklin. Next, we have the Westfield Coalition for the Arts donating $7,104 for the purchase of 5 snare drums and 2 quad tenor drums for the Westfield High School Marching Band. Next, we have the Westfield School Boosters Association donation of $2,590 for the purchase of a pole vault tarp for the Westfield High School track and field team. Also, the Westfield School Boosters Associated donated a scoring table, estimated value of $15,000 for Westfield High School fall and spring sports. The Wilson PTO donated $28,300.27 for materials for a mural along the baseball fence, an outdoor classroom replacement sunshade, and a new bike rack at Wilson. And the Jefferson Girl Scout Troop 40489 donated $250 for the Jefferson Garden. With tonight's donations, our year-to-date total is now a whopping $563,335.71. Thank you to all. May I have a second, please? Kristen.
Rob Bonaccio,
Yes.
Ken Diamond,
Yes.
Patrick Duffy,
Yes.
Layla Morelli, Sonal Patel, Kristen Sonic-Schmeltz,
Yes.
Julie Steinberg,
Yes.
Anthony Tessitore,
Yes.
Mary Wickens.
Yes.
Okay, next, policies. I think back to you, Mary.
I'd like to move items A and B under the policy section of tonight's agenda. A is for first reading, and B is for a second reading. Can I have a second? Pat.
All right. Rob Bonaccio,
Yes.
Ken Diamond,
Yes.
Patrick Duffy,
Yes.
Layla Morelli, Sonal Patel, Kristen Sonic-Schmeltz,
Yes.
Julie Steinberg,
Yes.
Anthony Tessitore,
Yes.
Mary Wickens.
Yes.
Next, curriculum instruction and programs. Kristen?
I'd like to move items A through C under curriculum. A outlines a series of field trips. B is for an intern candidate, and C is for the upcoming, the new curricula that we're proposing. Can I get a second? No, Layla?
Rob Bonaccio,
Yes.
Ken Diamond,
Yes.
Patrick Duffy,
Yes.
Layla Morelli, Sonal Patel, Kristen Sonic-Schmeltz,
Yes.
Julie Steinberg,
Yes.
Anthony Tessitore,
Yes.
Mary Wickens.
Yes.
All right, I'd like to call the board's attention to the notes for the record. There is no unfinished or new business presented for this agenda, so we'll move next to liaison reports, if anyone has any. Okay. Seeing none, we'll recognize the public for comments. During this portion of the meeting, members of the public are invited to address the Board of Education on any topic. As a courtesy, allow current students and staff of the Westfield Public Schools to speak first. The board requests that individuals sign in and state their name, municipality of residence, and group affiliation if applicable for the record, and asks that all remarks be directed to the board president or their designee, not to individual board members or staff. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and mindful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Specifically, comments regarding personnel matters are discouraged and cannot be responded to by the board. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded by the laws of New Jersey. The board bears no responsibility, nor will it be liable for any comments made by members of the public. If a matter concerning a district staff member is of interest or concern to a resident, the matter should be referred to the responsible building principal, superintendent of schools, or the Board of Education, either by telephone, letter, or email. Although the board may not respond to items raised during the public forum, all public comments will be considered. Please note that if any member of the public becomes disruptive during the meeting, the board president may terminate the participant's statement. Continued disruptions may result in removal from the meeting or adjournment of the meeting. Each speaker's statement will be limited to 3 minutes in duration.
Of course it happens.
Members of the Westfield Board of Education, my name is Victoria Beyer, and I am the parent of a 4th grader and a 3rd grader at Washington School. Washington is facing a period of significant transition. Our students and staff are preparing for a new principal, major construction that will extend throughout the school year, and the relocation of ABA classes to the building. At a time when stability is especially important, increasing class sizes should not be added to the list of challenges. If the choice is between classes of 18 students and classes of 24 students, the educationally sound choice is clear. 6 additional students may not seem significant on paper, but in practice, it represents a whopping 33% increase in the number of children competing for a teacher's time, attention, feedback, and support. 33% is significant. It means less individualized instruction, fewer opportunities for meaningful participation, and greater challenges in meeting the needs of all learners. Washington has long benefited from smaller class sizes that allow teachers to build strong relationships with students and provide the individualized support that helps children thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. We should be protecting those strengths, not diminishing them. Equally concerning is the process by which these decisions are being made. Families and staff have received very little information about the proposed changes, the reasons behind them, and the alternatives that were considered. Transparency is not simply about sharing a final decision. It is about engaging stakeholders in the discussion before decisions are finalized. Parents, teachers, and building administrators bring valuable perspectives and deserve to understand the factors being considered, the space constraints involved, and the rationale behind the district's plans. I recognize that none of the options before the district are easy. However, difficult decisions do not lessen the importance of transparency, collaboration, and prioritizing the educational experience of all students. As parents, taxpayers, and stakeholders in this community, we are asking for meaningful communication, a clear explanation of the district's plans, and a commitment to preserving the conditions that have enabled the academic success that Washington is known for. Thank you so much for your time and consideration.
Good evening, and thank you to the members of the board, the superintendent, district administration, teachers, staff, and families here tonight. I'm speaking as one of the PTO presidents here at Washington, but also as a parent and member of a school community that cares deeply about every child's educational experience. We understand the district is managing real challenges: construction, enrollment shifts, program needs, and limited space. We also understand that leadership requires difficult decisions, but when those decisions affect the daily lives of elementary school children, they must be guided by what is best for students, communicated clearly, and shaped with meaningful community input. Small class size matters. In elementary school, the relationship between a teacher and a child is central to learning. Young students need individual attention, redirection, encouragement, and connection throughout the day. Smaller classes allow teachers to know each child well, academically, socially, and emotionally. They help teachers notice when a child is struggling, challenge a child who is ready for more, and create a classroom where a child feels seen, supported, and ready to learn. This is especially important for students with IEPs, 504 plans, attention challenges, anxiety, and other learning needs. A meaningful increase in class size is not simply a logistical adjustment. It changes the classroom experience. It affects noise levels, access to the teacher, differentiation, behavior management, and the calm, structured environment young children need to thrive. The process matters too. Washington School has a tradition of excellence, and its families are invested in continuing this legacy. Families are not asking to make every decision, but they are asking to understand them. When significant changes are being considered, the community should see the options evaluated, the costs and benefits, the reasons alternatives were accepted or rejected, and importantly, have the opportunity to voice their opinions. Transparency should come before decisions are final, not after families are left to piece together information on their own. Washington families are engaged, thoughtful, and ready to partner constructively. We ask the district to protect small class sizes, preserve dedicated spaces for the arts, and commit to a decision-making process rooted in clear communication and real community involvement. Please continue to make student well-being, educational quality, and trust with families the foundation of every decision. Thank you for your time and your service to our children.
Good evening, members of the Board of Education. My name is Alina Schaller, and I'm the parent of rising second and third graders at Washington School. I'm also the parent of a child with a learning disability, which has given me an appreciation for how differently children learn. I want to start by recognizing that every child in our district deserves an educational environment where they can learn, grow, and thrive. My concern is not about welcoming new students to Washington. Rather, it's about ensuring that as we work to meet the needs of one group of students, we do not unintentionally diminish the educational experience of another. I'm here tonight because I'm deeply concerned about the potential loss of Washington's dedicated art and music spaces. Art and music are not extras. They are an essential part of a well-rounded education and play a critical role in supporting many different types of learners. Research consistently shows that arts education improves student engagement, behavior, attendance, social emotional development, and academic outcomes. One of Washington's greatest strengths is its ability to support students with a wide range of learning needs within an inclusive environment. For many students, art and music provide opportunities to experience success in ways that traditional academic settings do not always allow. Just as important as the programs themselves are the spaces where they take place. Dedicated art and music rooms are designed for creativity, movement, collaboration, specialized materials, and hands-on learning. They allow students to fully engage in experiences that are difficult to replicate on a cart, in a shared classroom, or a multi-purpose space. I'm aware that some schools in our district do provide art and music instruction on a cart or in shared spaces, and I respect the efforts of the educators working hard to adapt to those limitations. However, adaptation should not be confused with equivalency. The fact that a program can function under those circumstances does not mean it provides the same educational experience. We should not measure success by what students can get by with, but by what best supports their learning and development. For my child and many others, movement and access to different learning environments throughout the day are not simply preferences. They are part of what helps students remain engaged, regulated, and successful in school. As the Washington community prepares for a year of construction, new leadership, and significant change, we should be focused on preserving the resources that provide students with stability and support their success. I respectfully ask the board to consider the impact that these changes will have on Washington students and to explore every reasonable alternative before moving forward. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. My name is Stephanie Cooper. I'm the mother of a rising second grader and a future Wildcat. I work full-time as a design director in the education technology field, and I'm also an artist. I have a diploma in fine arts, a bachelor in illustration, and a master of science in communication design. Art is not simply what I do, it's part of who I am. I became an artist and a designer because the people around me and the spaces around me instilled in me the belief that art mattered. So I want to ask a simple question. When we lose dedicated spaces for art and music, what message are we sending our children? When something has a dedicated space, it makes a statement. It says, this matters. Think about a library. It's not just the books or the librarian that make it special. It's the experience of entering a space devoted to reading, imagination, and discovery. The space itself tells children that these things are important. An art room and a music room send the same message. While an art cart can deliver supplies, it certainly cannot replicate what a dedicated space represents. These unique spaces allow students to immerse themselves in creativity. They offer a wide range of materials, opportunities to display student work, and a safe space to get messy, as well as an environment where children can develop their identity as artists or musicians. For many children like me, the art or music room is where they first discover a talent, build confidence, or experience success in a way they may not in a traditional classroom. Those spaces matter. And in a world that will increasingly be shaped by artificial intelligence, creativity, imagination, and artistic thinking will only become more valuable. These are uniquely human skills that our children will need throughout their lives. If the board ultimately decides to move towards a more flexible model, I would challenge us not to view that as a reason to reduce the arts, but as an opportunity to strengthen them. Let's find ways to weave art and music more deeply into literacy, science, and math instruction. Let's expand opportunities for creative expression across the school day. But as you consider these decisions, I urge you not to lose sight of what dedicated spaces communicate to our children. Art matters, music matters, and the spaces we dedicate them to matter also. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Saurabh Mantri. I'm the PTO board member for Washington and a parent for a rising third grader and a rising first grader. First of all, I want to thank you to all board members, the superintendent, and to every parent who has taken time out of a busy weeknight to be here. We are all in this room for the same reason, that we care deeply about our kids and the future that we are trying to build for them. I want to keep my remarks brief and focused on few things that really matter to us. Washington is an engaged community. Please involve us in the decisions that are going to impact the future of our kids. First of all, transparency. Decisions of magnitude are being made with very little visibility into how and why. Parents are learning about these changes after the fact, not as part of the conversation. Please involve us in the process. If that's not possible, at least give us sound reasoning behind those decisions. What that does is we do understand that your job and the decision-making process is not easy. But this, in spite of all these difficult decisions, the trust in the community is important. Trust is the one thing that the school district cannot afford to spend down on. I'm asking the board to make the reasoning data, the trade-offs, public before any decisions are made and not after the fact. Second, it seems a bit ironic that we celebrated so many recognized and celebrated art programs and so many kids over here at this stage, and still we are talking about cutting or trimming these programs to the point that they are on the card where they would barely exist. And it seems like we are doing that because we think that arts and music is extra. It is not. The A in STEAM stands for arts, and that's not an accident. We are preparing our kids for a world that rewards creativity and innovation. You can't have STEAM without have arts. They are connective tissue that turns rote science and math into real problem-solving skills. Music and arts are also where many kids learn to focus, discipline, collaboration, and confidence. Academic endeavors need to be weaved in with creativity, music, and arts to make them a part of the rich tapestry of the life. Gutting these programs doesn't just cut a class, it pulls a leg out from under the very STEAM model we say we want to build for our kids. I urge the board to protect these programs and not quietly or effectively dismantle them. Third, in Washington, we are looking at class size increases of 33%. That's not a rounding error. It's a substantial change that directly affects how much attention each child is going to receive. And here's a simple logic, right? If the class sizes didn't matter, there wouldn't be any limit placed on it at all. The fact that limit exists is an admission that these numbers matter. I've also heard the argument that other schools in the district run higher ratios, so Washington should fall in line or should be at parity. I just want to conclude this. My ask is simple. Please be transparent, protect the arts and music program, and hold the line on the class sizes. Thank you for your time.
Great, ready to go. Hi, my name's Harrison Wolf. We recently moved here about 5 years ago. I have a son who's in first grade going to second grade, and a son that's going into kindergarten, both at Washington, both speaking. I'm now speaking on behalf of many of the people here who are here to talk with you. And look, I know you have a hard job. There's resource constraints. You spend a lot of your time trying to fix bad problems that you're faced with. You wouldn't do this if you had malicious, intent or anything like that, right? Like I come to you knowing, as a policy person myself, that these decisions are hard. And as a parent, I come here, I want to make the same statements that many of the others here have made, but in the interest of time and getting to everyone, I'll just say this. Look, we were told one of the reasons that a lack of transparency in the decision-making process for moving ABA classes to Washington was because that was, the best decision that you could come to. And I respect that, I understand that. But the reasoning we were told was because the disruption to the ABA students would outweigh the disruption or the negative outcomes on the other majority of the students. And that's the piece that I think we need to reassess. And given your ability as the Board of Education under your bylaws to assess and reassess some of these committee decisions, I beseech upon you to look at that and to really look at the weighing of that decision. Is it in the public interest? Is it in the public good for music and arts to be removed early or to be taken back when the alternative is vast, larger groups of majorities of students are actually served and not being disrupted. At Washington, they're renowned for having amazing program with ASD, children with mental health challenges, and IEPs that aren't in ABA classes. And those students will also be disrupted. The last thing I'll say is if it's not possible to reconsider that conversation, I understand. I would hope that the committee meeting minutes where that decision was finally made would be made available so we could see the conversations that took place. And if that's not possible, then the Board of Education members who are advocating for those positions to make that very clear and to explain. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it and appreciate your time, and thank you to all the other parents here.
Good evening. My name is Jason Byer, and I'm the parent of a current Washington 3rd and 4th grader. While my kids have had a wonderful education experience thus far at Washington, I am deeply concerned that that is about to change, especially for my 3rd grader, who faces the prospect of a 1/3 increase in his class size next year. This, along with all the other potential changes next year, would place an undue burden on one grade level and will meaningfully undermine their educational experience. The what and why of what's driving this change still baffles me. One explanation that I've been given is that for intra-district equity, Washington needs to share more of the overcrowding burden. The concept of equity should not be used as a way to bring Washington's environment down. We should work on raising the other schools' performance to Washington's level. Lastly, I believe that the retirement of Washington's principal, Dr. Andrew Perry, should catalyze a period of reflection among the administrative staff here about what has made him and the school so successful. I hope you try to replicate his accomplishments across the district. We deserve more than one blue ribbon elementary school in this town. And if the bottleneck is more resources, I believe the town will fund it if asked. We still have confidence in your leadership. However, the more that we see of this opaque decision-making process that are designed to exclude parental input, I fear that support will quickly diminish. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, members of the Board of Education and community stakeholders. Thank you so much for your time this evening as we talk about the matters that are impacting Washington School. One thing that I want to be very clear on is that we have voted as a community to bring these students to Washington School. We are excited for them to join, but we want that to be when all are ready. As we work to provide high-quality educational environments for all children, we must give careful attention to the transition of these students receiving ABA services into a new school setting before both the students, the parents, and the staff are ready. While placement in new school is often an important step forward, bringing children into this unfamiliar environment before everybody is ready or before all parties have achieved sufficient readiness can result in significant challenges and setbacks. Let's not forget that these children will be impacted by school construction and a new environment once construction is finalized. A premature transition can lead to added strain on teachers and support staff who are working diligently to meet the needs of all students. In turn, this can impact the overall learning climate and strain relationships between the families and the school. Experience and best practices show that successful transitions to a new school require deliberate preparation. Proceeding without adequate readiness, however well-intentioned, risks undermining the very opportunities that we aim to provide. We share a collective responsibility to get this right. I respectfully urge the board to collaborate closely with parents, ABA providers, special education teams, school administrators, teachers, and other stakeholders. Together, we can develop clear evidence-based readiness criteria, individualized transition plans, phased support strategies, comprehensive assessments, and sufficient resource allocation. All students deserve transitions that set them up for success rather than a struggle. Let us commit to policies and practices that respect each child's unique development needs while maintaining excellence across our schools. Hopefully you'll consider this, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Lauren Lewin, and my child is in 3rd grade at Washington School. I will be in the school for years to come as I have an upcoming kindergartner, so everything going on here affects me for quite some time. I also grew up in Westfield and am a former Washington School student, so I am very fondly familiar with the community, the school, and everything that it has to offer. To get ahead of any misconceptions that means I'm set in my old ways, I'd like to clarify that I make a career out of being a transformation leader, project manager, and certified change management professional in major organizations. So I not only welcome change, but lead it. That said, let's talk about change. Here's what we know is coming to our small school: a new principal who has yet to introduce herself to our students or parents, a beloved playground being removed, active construction, and the noise, congestion, and disruption that comes with it. The likely consolidation of next year's 4th grade classes from 4 sections of 18 to 3 sections of 24. Dedicated art and music rooms eliminated in favor of cart-based instruction. And last but certainly not least, new students with needs our staff, students, and space are not yet equipped to meet. Each of these things independently would be a big adjustment, but collectively, especially when introduced without transparency or community involvement, directly threaten the identity of the school. After lunch and recess, our teachers have 300 instructional minutes a day with our students. At 18 students, that's 16 and a half minutes of individual attention, and at 24 students, it drops 30% to 12 minutes a day. When you extrapolate that across 180 school days and the two years that these students will be in this school, that is 1,800 hours of educational touch points and support that we are erasing from our students. Those numbers also assume that classes run smoothly every single day. If you eliminate transitions, disruptions, and challenges that come with larger class sizes, the instructional time and quality diminishes more. With that in mind, let's also shift our attention to art and music on a cart. We all remember COVID, working from the bedroom, taking calls in the kitchen, trying to be productive. Blurring those boundaries crushed our health and our focus, and just because it could work doesn't mean it should. We are now pushing and planning to manufacture that experience for our children. Past experience shows that this does not work. It limits the mediums, it reduces the space for movement, it limits the time for touch and physical interaction that is critical to these subjects. That's not a program, it's a gesture. And given the amount of time spent honoring the accomplishments of students here today, it's shocking that we would want to restrict that growth for the younger generations to come. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you to the Education Department, the superintendent and the staff, and the Board of Education parents. And my name is Cynthia Kaja from Washington School, and I would like to acknowledge my fellow Washington parents who are here today. Please stand. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for support. So we've all come here today with common concerns of all the changes happening at our beloved Washington School District. So as many of you have heard, there's so many changes. And if I were to advocate for just 2 things that I think could be done maybe better for the children, it would be smaller class sizes, maintaining the small class sizes. I agree with Mrs. Bayer here that a 30% increase in class size is statistically significant. In statistical books, 5% is considered statistically significant. 30% is a lot of change for the children. So if I may ask to maintain smaller class sizes. And my second request is, the background of this is, I grew up with an aunt who had Down syndrome. She stayed with us until she died. My aunt went through normal functioning, helping with the family business, which was great. However, she was very sensitive to noise and overcrowding. With the inclusion of our ABA students, from personal experience, I fear that we might not have the adequate space for our ABA students, for them to thrive, because we are just not ready for the space that they might need for their learning. And number two, we will be undergoing construction while we're welcoming the ABA students at Washington. I feel that the noise might be too much for them, especially for the students who have sensory sensitivity. While in paper or conceptually, we think that we are going 2 steps forward to accommodate everybody, but in actuality, we might not be doing a good service to everybody, both ABA students, native students of Washington, and everybody. That's all. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. I'm Ellie Salcedo. I'm an incoming parent to Washington. I would like to congratulate all the student musicians, vocalists, violinists, and actors who made us proud today, and we're honored today. I'm even more proud to see that the board acknowledged them and showcased the commitment to the Westfield School District Art and Music. The students stood tall with pride and beaming smiles. However, at the same time, I'm saddened to see that the same opportunities for the children of Washington are not being afforded. Quite the contrary, they're being underfunded and being left to the margins. Washington students are being asked to sacrifice, to diminish their ambitions, to let go of their dreams for a greater good. But sacrifice is not foreign to Washington families. When we were asked to support a full-time kindergarten program, without hesitation, we supported it. Many of us supported it without a direct benefit. We wouldn't benefit from the kindergarten program. We're ready to sacrifice when we are engaged, when we're viewed as part of the solution rather than being an afterthought. Leadership requires engagement. We ask the board to engage us. You might be surprised. By bringing us together, we may come up with solutions that you haven't thought of. We teach our students to take the time to listen to each other, to build consensus. And now we ask the board to live by those principles and engage us. We are part of the solution. You have done that with our student representative here. Why not do that with the Washington parents? Engage us. We are part of the solution. Diverse thoughts create better decisions. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Corey Shortino. I'm a parent at Washington School. I have a rising 5th grader and a rising 3rd grader. I have an education background. I was a special ed teacher for a dozen years, an ABA therapist, and college professor. But tonight, I'm here to only speak on behalf of parents as a parent. I only wear the mom hat these days, but I know what's happening in school. When I found out about all the changes, I called our principal and asked if I could walk the halls, because I wanted, if I couldn't make a decision on I haven't been there myself. So I did. I walked the halls and I asked to be shown every single closet. And they're full. They're being used for every possible service we can use. We're busting at the seams, which is why this new addition makes so much sense. However, our school is going through a very volatile time. We are switching leadership, we are going under construction, and those things to a small community matter. And I'm only here just to speak about how parents, I've observed all of my peers with their concerns about their children for where they go for 6 hours every day in school in a community that they love. And I observed as the answers were not clear. I observed parents asking very passionately about what will happen, about how we can make this right. And it was a lot of confusion and very conflicting answers. And quite frankly, it made me embarrassed as a professional. I really wish I had answers for other parents, but I do not. And I don't believe the board does either, at least not at this moment. I really want to talk about the support for our teachers and our staff that are currently there, as they will be affected by these growing numbers, new community, and everything that is implied. I just really hope that the board helps us with our trust in the fact that there has been lack of communication, and we want to know that everyone in this situation will be supported. Everyone, the children, teachers, staff, and parents. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, Board of Education members. My name is Roshni Charles. I am the parent of a third grader and a rising first grader at Washington Elementary. Go Wildcats, but I'm shifting gears here. I'm speaking tonight to kick off a series of comments from Parents for Mindful Tech, a group of local parents advocating for a more balanced, evidence-based approach to technology in our schools. We appreciate the planned updates announced in the May District newsletter. While we are encouraged that you're addressing some of these issues, we believe a more comprehensive approach would best protect and support our students. Our group has prepared a detailed letter outlining our concerns, which we'll hand out at the end of these comments. This letter represents a true grassroots effort. Through genuine local conversations across our town, we've gathered nearly 300 signatures, or excuse me, as of a few minutes ago, over 300, that reflect a broad coalition of parents, educators, faith leaders, and engaged Westfield community members. We're asking the board to evaluate the data we're providing and take a hard look at district policies across 4 key areas: mindful use of technology, student safety online, responsible generative AI, and digital wellness education. I want to highlight the critical social, emotional, and developmental reasons why our children need more screen-free time in school. The science is straightforward. Optimal brain development and emotional well-being rely on real-world, hands-on experiences and face-to-face engagement, including play. Heavy screen use delays the development of executive functions, impacting focus and impulse control. Further, the gamification of learning uses compulsion loops that overstimulate the brain and actively undermine critical thinking. This is why we're asking the district to prohibit recreational screen use, including for behavior management. It's also why we're requesting a full public technology audit. Through our discussions with parents, it's become clear that there are vast differences in how students use screens across the district. There's a lack of transparency and no unified standard regarding how much time is spent on devices, what apps and games students can access, or how they're being utilized in the curriculum. To help analyze the results of the audit, we recommend referencing the research-backed EdTech Triangle, a framework to ensure that where the district is utilizing technology, it's in a way that's both supportive and transformative for students. It's clear this is rapidly becoming a national discussion, with sweeping changes being made across the country. Locally, the school districts of South Orange, Maplewood, New Providence, and Montclair have all recently announced broad changes to their curriculums and technology policies. Westfield's a top-tier district, and its reputation for educational excellence is why so many of us are raising our children here. We want Westfield to join these neighboring districts in being at the forefront. We ask that you please review the research packets we've provided and listen to the parents speaking tonight to implement meaningful updates to our technology policies, curriculum, and educational training. Thank you for your time and service to the community.
Good evening. My name is Laura Cohen, a Westfield resident and parent of twin first graders at McKinley Elementary. I want to start by acknowledging how wonderful our first year in the district has been under the leadership of Principal McCabe, and I care passionately about all the topics addressed tonight related to mindful tech. But as a mom of littles, I didn't expect to experience them yet, but I have. Starting in September of first grade, my child has been introduced to inappropriate YouTube videos on district Chromebooks, on district property, frequently. This issue is ongoing. Older children are pulling out their Chromebooks immediately after dismissal and pulling up YouTube, saying they're doing homework, and crowds of children are coming around them. The videos my child reported seeing include themes of nudity, violence, and bullying. I have been denied a meeting by District IT multiple times on this issue. These Chromebooks are not just something to be monitored at school. They cause problems at aftercare, in our homes, and at sporting events. 300 district parents have signed the letter, and many of them have spoken to me from elementary through high school, saying their children are repeatedly seeing inappropriate content. And despite parents setting controls on personal devices at home, these kids circumvent those controls by using their district device. The district is giving these devices to children, requiring them to use it for homework, and a button away is allowing access to inappropriate browser content and YouTube. YouTube Kids, unlike PBS Kids or Nickelodeon, has no writing or production team. It's content created by adults with smartphones, making content to drive clicks and ad revenue. At my house, we use a simple free feature called a whitelist where we block all of YouTube, and then we add in the channels that are vetted by my husband and I. Many school districts use this, and we are asking Westfield to explore this avenue. Many of us here work for corporations who have far tighter content controls on our work laptops than the Westfield students do, including blocking of YouTube and significant web browser content. I have heard a couple days ago whisperings that the district's exploring a new YouTube policy. If so, I applaud the district's leadership, and I ask that it be implemented swiftly and thoughtfully with a committee review to elucidate any gaps. And I also ask for appropriate expansion of this policy to middle school, a time where kids are curious to explore content and spend too much time viewing it. We are asking for mindful and purposeful use of technology in Westfield Public Schools. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Danielle McKaylee, and I am here with Parents for Mindful Tech. I have a 7th grader and 12th grader in Westfield schools. Most of us would agree that since the pandemic, our district has been innovative about using technology in schools. In 2020, screen time became the easiest, safest, and sometimes only way kids were able to connect with their teachers and peers. 6 years later, there is a growing body of research on the negative effects of excessive screen time on developing brains. Passive screen time specifically triggers the detrimental impact of an endless dopamine loop. The implications include shorter attention spans, emotional dysregulation, sleep disruption, and social and emotional issues, including depression and anxiety. I'm concerned with what I hear from my kids and fellow parents about how frequently Chromebooks are used as filler or for free time during the school day. When a teacher is absent, when students are finished with a test, while a teacher works with individuals or small groups, when a TV show is shown to elementary students during lunch or snack to keep them quiet, when it's 50 degrees and sunny after a long stretch of cold, rainy days, but instead of outdoor recess, kids are inside being entertained by a screen. Every time I hear another anecdote about free time on the Chromebook, I can't help but pause and think, in this life, nothing is for free. All of this seemingly free time on Chromebooks actually comes at a significant cost. Excessive screen time is robbing kids of the chance to read a book, journal or draw on paper, play a card game with a friend, talk to a classmate, even to have those quiet and, yes, maybe boring moments when their brains are doing the really important work of learning to be still. Boredom is a gift. My kids love that one. Over-reliance on screens in school carries over to home life, contributing to unhealthy habits like the desire to open up the Chromebook to fill every quiet moment. My family has been working towards technology breaks and embracing non-screen activities. It's not always easy, but it's important. Our community, like much of society, has gone from using technology out of necessity and has crossed a threshold into using screens as a filler, as a distraction, as a babysitter, as a method of classroom management. Even in the best case scenario, when kids are doing schoolwork or watching something educational, we must pause and ask ourselves how much screen time is too much, when is enough enough? This is why we are asking for a district-wide policy to prevent recreational screen use during school hours. I have an additional concern. On several occasions, I've seen homework assignments referencing social media, such as creating a simulated Instagram post or how to promote yourself on TikTok. I understand teachers want to relate to students, but they are unintentionally normalizing social media, which experts recommend kids stay away from before age 16. After contacting both teachers and administrators on several occasions about specific incidents, it is clear the district does not have a policy about these type of assignments, and I would ask you to consider creating one. We are asking for mindful and purposeful use of technology in Westfield schools. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Laura Drexel, and I am the mom of 3. My oldest is an incoming first grader, and I'm a proud Westfield High School graduate, raising my family in the town that raised me. I'm here tonight as a parent for Mindful Tech, but I'm also an educator who supports schools in the greater New York area and nationally to improve learning culture. I focus on things like increasing critical thinking, student engagement, collaborative learning, experiences, and more. This is what I do every single day. I now run my own business where I absolutely use AI. Honestly, it's the only way I can serve as many clients as I do. I am not afraid of AI. I'm a believer. I use it to elevate what I am already capable of, and that's exactly the future that I want for our kids. To work with these tools, not for them. But there's a real difference between AI elevating an adult who already knows how to think and AI handed to a child whose thinking is still forming. I happen to see this play out daily across many different schools. The analogy that I keep coming back to is the brain as a muscle. I know it's more complex than that, but stay with me. Muscles only grow with resistance, friction, time under tension. Critical thinking and problem solving grow the same way, from struggle, from finding the right word, from organizing a thought, sitting with a hard problem until it finally clicks. When AI removes that friction too early, it's like having a machine do your reps for you. You can squat, but the machine's holding your weights. It looks productive, but the part that actually builds the thinker is gone. And this just isn't my worry. There's a Brookings study that's going to be linked in the email that is sent to you after this that draws on research across 50 countries, and it found that for children, the risks of premature AI use can outweigh its benefits. It describes this doom loop of cognitive offloading, where students increasingly let AI do their thinking for them. And here's the part that really concerns me. It creates the illusion of learning. A child reads a fluent answer from AI and walks away feeling like they've learned it, but feeling fluent and being capable are not the same thing. The struggle is what it tells you if you've actually learned something. So when AI removes the friction, it quietly removes that signal to kids, and they think they've got it when they've actually never gone through the necessary cognitive process to learn something new. Right now, our district uses Google Gemini is fully accessible to intermediate students' devices. Starting in 6th grade, children still building their foundational reading, math, and reasoning skills who can't yet judge whether AI is even telling them the truth. I'm not asking us to keep AI out of our kids' hands forever. I'm asking for intentional scaffolding for something that is powerful to be introduced when it is developmentally appropriate with guardrails that match what kids are capable of. Thank you so much for your time.
Hi, I'm Sarah Andrews, a district parent and a higher education professional with the Parents for Mindful Tech in Westfield. I'm asking that you protect our children from what I'm going to share with you tonight. I work with college students who are the product of the K-12 system and who are the first in modern day history to score lower in standardized testing than generations before them. I regularly see trends in the loss of vital skills required to enter today's workforce, what the National Association of Colleges and Employers calls career readiness competencies. In critical thinking, I see independent analysis and source verification eroded by AI shortcuts and an over-reliance on digital tools. Communication and teamwork, I see both verbal and nonverbal forms stunted, a lack of practice of in-person people skills, and an inability to resolve conflicts. In leadership, I see curated online personas replacing accountability, which show up as low emotional intelligence and an inability to influence. In career and self-development, I see loss of motivation, the inability to self-reflect or pivot, career anxiety, and feelings of degree irrelevance. In equity and inclusion, I see AI echo chamber searches replacing inclusive, real-world dialogue. I also see the increase in social isolation and a massive increase in mental health support needs. In professionalism, I see a lack of social awareness, goal creation, and underdeveloped interpersonal functionality. In technology, I see passive screen use, an inability to read a chapter in a textbook, write an email, or register for a class without getting in on a device to make a decision for them, a reliance on tech as their teachers, therapists, and moral compasses. I see frequent AI plagiarism accusations. Cognitive surrender, digital dementia, a learning recession, whatever you want to call it, this behavior is like nicotine withdrawal. Just like big tech knowingly designed products with the harmful intent of lifelong addiction, and we're addicted. Just this month, AI leaders called for global regulation as models have escaped human control. Because AI has consumed our complete understanding of STEM, there's now a demand for humanities majors who bring humanistic skills and to whom AI employers are targeting for the next upload, our ability to be human. Today's students are our future medical professionals, attorneys, public officials, and educators. We will eventually rely on their judgment when we are in our most vulnerable stages of life. I close by urging those listening to act immediately. We know students can be college ready and career competent when we trust our teachers to educate with their human intelligence, human skills, and human experience, which has historically given Westfield schools a reputation for academic excellence. We are asking for mindful and purposeful use of technology in Westfield schools.
Good evening. My name is Melissa Morano, and I'm here with Parents for Mindful Tech. I'm the parent of a rising third grader from Franklin Elementary School. I spent the last 27 years as a classroom educator. I want to be clear, I am not against technology use. Technology can be a valuable tool when it helps teachers achieve specific learning goals, but I believe it should enhance learning, not replace it. After 27 years in the classroom, I've seen a lot of changes in education. One thing I know for certain is that children learn best when they've actively engaged with their teachers and their classmates. They learn through discussion, collaboration, hands-on projects, problem solving, and real human interaction. As a teacher, I've never seen a screen replace the value of a great classroom discussion, students working together to solve a problem, or the excitement that comes from creating something with their hands. Those experiences build not only academic skills, but also communication, teamwork, collaboration, confidence, and empathy. That's why technology should be used to support learning, not become the learning experience itself. In my district, we had a conscious effort to create more opportunities for students to connect with one another. Devices are put away during lunch, recess, and other unstructured times, even at the middle school and high school level. What we've seen is exactly what many of us hope for. Students are talking to each other, playing games, building friendships, and learning how to navigate social situations face-to-face instead of through a screen. We've also worked to support teachers in creating more hands-on and collaborative learning experiences. Technology is still available when it serves a purpose, but the focus remains on student engagement, critical thinking, creativity, and working together. When I look at the recently announced changes in Westfield, my concern is that much of the conversation seems to focus on managing technology, rather than asking a more important question. Are we creating the kinds of learning experiences that children need most? Parents are asking that question too. In the district's October survey, technology, AI, and online safety were identified as the topics families most wanted additional information about. Because of that interest, I reached out to Central Administration about bringing the Mindful Generation to Westfield. The organization partnered with New Providence to provide free programs for parents, students, and educators focused on digital balance and student well-being. I was asked to send information about the program, which I did. Despite several follow-up attempts, I never received a response. I found that disappointing because it was a free opportunity to address an issue that parents themselves identified as a priority. At the very least, it could have opened the door to meaningful conversations among families, educators, and students about how technology fits into our own children's lives and education. That's why we're asking for mindful, purposeful use of technology in Westfield schools. Thank you for your time.
Kyle George, Westfield. I'm unaffiliated, though I support everything all the other parents have said about almost everything, especially the technology commentary. I don't have prepared remarks here, but I thought I'd get up and say something on the overuse of tech at school. I have a deep experience with technology. I work with it every day. It's my job. My solution is very simple. No unsupervised access to Chromebooks. Very simple. I mean, we talk about, educational models and all that, but it's all about the unsupervised access to the Chromebooks. I can control this at home. My daughters have no access to social media and only supervised access to devices. Our devices have strict parental controls and get locked up at night, except for the Chromebook. I can't limit that. It has access to all kinds of things that I block, like YouTube, Spotify, random Spotify podcasts, AI tools, questionable games, and all that. It's certainly getting overused and not just used for academic work. Here's an idea: bring back paper, put the Chromebooks in a computer. Put the Chromebooks in a computer lab like we used to do not all that long ago. And if you're gonna still use laptops for that, lock them up when they're done. There's no reason for the kids to take them home. I'll see kids out at school pickup with their Chromebooks open, doing who knows what. They're definitely not doing their homework, I can tell you that. Another thing I'd like to mention is that there's way too much access to AI for kids. I'm deeply experienced with this, with AI. I've met privately with people in the district about it. Like I said, I work in tech, and I use AI tools every day for very complex tasks like software development. Kids don't need to use these things when they're at their most neuroplastic. They really don't need to have them. They need to form their own independent opinions. They need to learn how to learn, and the AI is not helping them learn how to learn. It's helping them get the right answer, and it's telling them what their opinion should be. AI brain rot is real, especially for kids, and so my request is that the district, does not let, that the district will take action to not be part of the cognitive degradation problem. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Rosamond McMahon. I'm a parent of a child at Tamaqua School. I want to address the issue of excessive Chromebook and screen time for the children in our school. I would like the board to consider how excessively we're using Chromebooks and screen time for the children, especially those younger than grade 3. There is no need for our young children to be tied to screens at such a early young age. There are numerous studies that show the impact this has on brain development, concentration, motor skills, critical thinking, and their social skills. We understand the importance of keeping our children ahead of the technology curve, but we should not rely excessively on screens as part of our curriculum. There are many studies showing that AI-stimulated videos, educational games on laptops are not supportive for the learning and mental health of our children. More and more, these are being relied upon in the classroom. For example, during snack time, children watch videos. This is causing them to zone out and not learn important social skills such as socializing and eating with their peers. In the lower grades, many classrooms work towards a marble jar for rewards. The marble jar is to learn how to be kind, how to support each other, and how to be a good classmate. And I recently learned that one of the rewards is extra Chrome time. We shouldn't be rewarding our children with good behavior by offering them more screen time. I'm also highly concerned by the lack of boundaries that are in place in school for Chromebooks that stop our young minds seeing potentially damaging and life-changing material. Learning that first graders have seen nudity and weapons on their Chromebooks shown by children in their older years. Surrounding counties and states are evaluating their screen time and use of laptops, and Westfield should not be left behind. We should not be putting our head in the sand to how much damage excessive screens can cause. We are all more aware than ever of how damaging screen time and social media can be to everyone's mental health, and that I ask that we do everything in our power to protect our young children's agile minds. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Catherine Powell. I've got a first grader at Jefferson. I wasn't going to speak, so I do not have very polished notes right now, but I just wanted to make a quick point. I work in media. I work for an established newspaper media brand. I know that there are a lot of petitions that go around, the wait until 8, let's keep our kids off social media. I think we need to be really clear here that YouTube is social media. There is little to no regulation with what goes up on that site. There's little to no regulation with what gets put on YouTube. My daughter says YouTube is on her Chromebook and she knows not to click on it, but she has a real desire to please authoritarian figures. So she follows along, but she's in a class with 19 other students, and I know not all of them have the same fear that she does of her teachers and disappointing them. So I know that there are kids that are going on YouTube, and to your point earlier, sir, about monitor the Chromebook usage. Yeah, definitely, but we have one teacher in a class of 20 kids, and there's no way she can see what's going on behind all those screens at all times. So if we do nothing else, let's just take YouTube off the Chromebooks. Like, that just seems like a very easy answer. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, members of the board and district leadership. Congratulations to Dr. Perry on his retirement and Dr. J being appointed as the principal for Washington. So my doctoral degree is in special education. I hold board certifications in special education, as well as special education advocacy and inclusion. I currently serve as the Director of Teaching and Learning for SUNY Empire State University, and I'm an associate professor in the College of Education. I produce multiple peer-reviewed articles focusing on special education, disability access, and inclusion. Prior to higher ed, I was a special ed teacher in New York City, where I taught in ICT 12 to 1-to-1, 12 to 1-to-4, 8 to 1-to-1, and 6 to 1-to-1 classroom settings. I have 4 children currently in Westfield Public Schools, grades 3 through pre-K 3. I share this background not to list credentials, but to explain the lens through which I view school communities: inclusion, belonging, access, and proactive support that are not extras. They are foundational to student success. My family came or migrated from Staten Island to Westfield mostly for the schools. Like many families, we made choices and sacrifices because we believed in the strength of this district and the community around it. But this year, many families have felt a growing strain from district decisions and systems that directly affect daily life, including and around pickup and drop-off times, transportation, and busing challenges. These may seem like operational issues, but for families, they are deeply personal. They affect work schedules, childcare, stress levels, student readiness, and the overall sense of partnership between families and schools. When logistics feel overly burdensome, families feel the impact every single day. However, my larger concern is about the missed opportunity to build a stronger sense of belonging and community, especially at Washington Elementary. Washington is filled with families who show up. Parents volunteer, attend events, support classrooms, organize activities, and give their time because they care deeply about the school. That level of parent involvement is a gift, but it also needs to be supported with proactive education and shared understanding. As Washington welcomes new students in the new ABA cohorts, we have an important opportunity to lead with inclusion rather than react after concerns arise. These students are not just entering a program, they are joining the school community. We want them and their families to feel genuinely welcome, valued, and included from the very beginning. But without proactive education, this becomes a missed opportunity. Students need age-appropriate opportunities to learn about empathy, difference, friendship, communication, inclusion, disability, and belonging. That could include speakers, classroom readings, community building lessons, and intentional conversations that help children understand how to welcome and include one another. It should also include training and guidance for parents who volunteer regularly at the school. Volunteers are part of the school environment. They interact with students, support events, and shape the climate of the building. We want every student to feel welcomed and valued. Then the adults in the building, including volunteers, need a shared language and basic training around inclusion, confidentiality, dignity, and respectful support. This is not about blame. It's about recognizing an opportunity. Thank you.
Pass out those materials.
I think we're all set for speakers. Just want to make sure as that's going on. All right. With that, I will close the second public comment. Okay, with public comment closed, the board is going to move to an executive session. I think we could use a little bit of a break before we do that, right? So let's pass the resolution. We'll reconvene in executive session, say in about 5 minutes, and then we can go from there. So let's get the resolution approved, and then I'll let you know. I know, I'm not forgetting. Don't worry. I ask the board to approve the following resolution. Resolve that the Board of Education move into private session for the purpose of discussing matters rendered confidential by state and federal law, including the superintendent's evaluation review, and be it further resolved that any discussion had by the board, which need not remain confidential, and the results of the discussion will be made public as soon as practicable. The board will not be returning to public session and will adjourn the meeting at the end of the executive session. We have a second, please. Second for Kent. Just this by voice vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, we're in executive session. Recess quickly and go to executive session.